While Michelle Frame has had many titles during her more than 30 years in the confectionery industry, the one she prefers is Candy Scientist. The president and founder of Victasars Incorporated says she is happiest working in her lab perfecting a formulation or solving a production problem for a client. Michelle was born in Michigan City, Indiana on April 4, 1968, and grew up in the Chesterton, Indiana countryside with her parents, Mary and Donald, and her 5 siblings. She recalls music and dancing being a big part of growing up. "My parents danced all the time," she says, adding, "I could waltz before I could walk, as my dad often danced me to sleep." And Michelle's mom would sing her church songs as she rocked her to sleep. Her appreciation for and fascination with all things confectionery started at a young age. She says the family's home had a very loud exhaust fan. "My sister told me to pretend it was a machine making something I liked. From that point on, I went to sleep envisioning all my favorite candy bars moving down a conveyor belt from the fan to my room." Michelle also spent hours at the kitchen stove as a young girl making suckers and other candy. She'd make such a mess that her mom once claimed it took 3 years to get all the candy goo off the stove and counters. That makes us wonder what her mom, pictured here with Michelle, would have said if she had been at what Michelle recalls as one of her funniest moments in the industry. She says she was working in the Just Born factory when the company was commissioning a new line, and stood by as marshmallows spurted across the room at high velocity. Michelle was raised with 26 cousins that lived close by. She tells us that no one was allowed to play until all the chores were done, so they would go from farm to farm helping each other. She says this is where she got her strong work ethic, explaining she was taught to work until the job was done and to figure out how to do things on her own. But once the chores were done, she says it was all about having fun with the family, recalling weekend camping trips with all the cousins. And it looks like she and her older sister Brenda finally did get that new tent set up. Michelle attended St. Mary of the Woods College, where she studied dietetics before obtaining her bachelor's degree in food science from Purdue University in 1990. While at Purdue, she landed an internship at then M&M Mars. She went on to work at the company for 4 years as a technical services tech. She says this internship and her love of chocolate launched her career and her focus on having fun. "Candy is a fun product. If you are not having fun making it, you cannot possibly be successful," an R&D director at M&M Mars once told her. She says she knew she would always work in an industry where fun was required for success, and has made that philosophy part of her own company's mission. From 1995 to 2001, Michelle worked at Just Born Quality Confections as a process improvement scientist. Here, she says she really fell in love with the industry thanks to 2 of her mentors, CEO and Candy Hall of Famer Ross Bourne, and Chairman of the Board David Schaffer. "I will never forget their willingness to let me make a mess, learn, and then make a bigger mess," she recalls. After more than 5 years at Just Born, Michelle started a new job at Mantrose Hauser Company as the confectionery brand manager in technical sales. While she thought she was going to fail in sales, she notes this challenge was one of the biggest factors in her success, explaining that she has learned to choose the hardest job of the options available, which has enabled her to learn new things. After her time at Montrose Hauser, Michelle became the applications manager at FONA International for a year, and then took on the role of confectionery R&D director at Kerry Ingredients from 2005 to 2011. Michelle says May 31st, 2014 marks the most important moment of her career. It's the day her lawyer called to tell her she was officially a business owner. "I love candy and everything it brings to the world," she says. "I found that my passion wasn't one company, but the entire industry. I could contribute to its long-term sustainability by ensuring access to strong technical support in both new product development and process troubleshooting." And as Michelle learned growing up, it sometimes takes the entire family to get the job done. So it's no surprise she realized a second dream after opening Victus. She sometimes recruits her parents and other family members to work in the lab, helping meet a deadline to get products out. Here we have a photo of Michelle and her team celebrating the company's 5th anniversary with champagne and commemorative Swarovski bracelets. In addition to David and Ross's mentorship, Michelle points to Candy Hall of Fame Class of 2003's Pat Hurley, who she says taught her the joy of being active in industry associations. She is pictured here with Pat and fellow Candy Hall of Famer Jim McGovern. Pat also had the distinction of being the first person to read Michelle's business plan, after which he told her, "I suggest you get ready. You are going to be far bigger and more in demand than you are conceiving." Michelle is very active in the industry, serving on the executive team of the American Association of Candy Technologists National Council for 7 years, spending 2 years as president, and serving as facilities chair from 2012. She has also been active in the association's Chicago chapter. Seeing others feel excitement about their job because they've learned something about science, that moment when the light goes on and they really get it, is another of the many reasons Michelle loves what she does. She is a lead instructor for the Professional Manufacturing Confectioners Association Panning Short Course, which she started teaching in 2016, and was an IFT Confectionery Short Course instructor from 2002 to 2004. She has also been a Confectionery Residence Course instructor since 2005. Although she takes much of her business philosophy with her wherever she goes, the life philosophy she has passed on to her nieces and nephews is to learn about different cultures and treat yourself well. In fact, she takes each of them on a special adventure as a high school graduation celebration, and is shown here with her niece and godchild on a trip to New Zealand. It is an amazing honor that others in the industry deem me worthy to walk in the same steps as those in previous years and in my cohort, she says of her Candy Hall of Fame induction. "I look at what the others have done who I will be inducted with, and I shake my head in disbelief." If you are wondering what the future has in store for Michelle, it ranges from doing a TEDx talk and continuing to grow her business, to sitting on a Caribbean beach drinking Mai Tais with her friends. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Michelle's good friend, Amanda Louie, who will help us induct her into the Candy Hall of Fame.